GMQC Saturday.
It's not just a bad idea, it's a misuse of federal money.
Right now on Good Morning Quad Cities, a day after Scott County gave the green light to fund a new juvenile detention center, it's facing pushback over how it's paying for the project. We'll explain why this morning. Plus, as Russia's war in Ukraine enters its fourth week, we are getting a fresh look at Russia's playbook. What could happen soon if Russia's president doesn't get what he wants? And good morning and welcome. It is Saturday. I'm David Bohlman. Thank you so much for waking up with us.
And I'm meteorologist Morgan Strackbein. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Did you have a good vacation?
Yes, but even though I'm more exhausted coming back than I did before I left, but that means it was a sign of a fun vacation.
Hey, that's true. If you need a vacation after the vacation, that means, you did it right.
You did it right. Good thing I have my weekend coming up and I can sleep that entire time.
Well, and you came back to some gloomy weather. We had rain yesterday. It's still kind of rainy this morning.
Which is some good news. I know we've been stuck in kind of this drought, and we have another round heading our way next week that will bring in another good round of some soaking rain, and we'll talk about that coming up in your accurate forecast. But a look at those current conditions. 37 degrees in the Quad Cities right now. Feels like 29. We're still dealing with a little bit of showers and even some snow showers as we're bringing in that cooler air from the north. It feels like 26 right now in Clinton, 32 in Aledo, 30 in Kewaunee. Right now we are seeing those rain and snow showers continuing to dissipate, push off to the east. By the late morning hours, we will likely see some drying skies as well. There's a look at that rainfall so far. It looks like a lot of us have picked up just around an inch of rain, even some areas picking up higher. You can see those isolated spots in those yellow regions. That's some good rain, definitely needed for all of our hometowns. Feels like temperatures today, they will be a couple degrees below the actual outdoor temperatures. We deal with some breezy winds left over from this system. But again, we should see some sunshine by the evening, and that sun is going to continue into our Sunday, which is definitely going to be more spring-like. Again, we are going to track in some more rain chances as we head into next week, and we'll talk about when you can expect those coming up in just a little bit. David.
All right, Morgan, thank you so much. It is now 6:02 and time to get an update on Russia's war in Ukraine. The war is now entering its fourth week with attacks increasing in Lviv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says more than 180,000 Ukrainians have been evacuated through humanitarian corridors. That's since the beginning of the war. Millions more have been escaping Ukraine as refugees. ABC's Christine Sloan has more.
As Russia's war on Ukraine enters its fourth week, the Russians firing missiles at Lviv from the Black Sea, hundreds of miles away. ABC's Martha Raditz is there.
With today's missile strike just there beyond the airport, the Russians are sending a powerful message. Lviv has been a critical place for refugees trying to get out of Ukraine and a critical pipeline for humanitarian aid and supply.
Those strikes just as President Biden met virtually with Chinese President Xi Jinping for almost 2 hours. Russia has reportedly asked China for military or economic help, and the U.S. says China will pay if they assist Russia in any way.
China has to make a decision for themselves about where they want to stand and how they want the history books to look at them and view their actions.
The U.S. and NATO are increasingly worried Russian President Vladimir Putin may turn to even deadlier attacks, including chemical, biological, or even small-yield nuclear weapons to gain the advantage.
These are smaller yield, smaller weapons, but they still carry lots of radioactivity, and they're still a big step along the scale of escalation to strategic nuclear war.
But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky remains defiant, telling the Russian government that it's time to talk. Otherwise, Russia will suffer huge losses that, quote, several generations will not be enough to rebound. And in Lviv, 109 empty baby strollers were lined up in a city square, symbolizing 109 Ukrainian children killed in the war. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
Christine Sloan, thank you. Things in Ukraine are developing hour by hour, and our digital team is working very hard to keep everything you need to know in one place. Get the latest details anytime by texting the one-word invasion to the number on your screen. That's 309-304-0888. Again, you have to text that number, don't call it. We do want to get to some local headlines now. Scott County leaders are facing more pushback this morning over building a new juvenile detention center. The ACLU of Iowa says the county is not funding the project properly with federal money. More than $7 million was approved last week for the plans. That money would be coming from the COVID relief funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. The ACLU warns that the funding cannot be spent on the center because of a rule that says building a correctional facility does not meet a COVID health or economic impact.
Not just a bad idea, it's a misuse of federal money.
It is what the name is, a detention center, and not a correctional facility or a jail.
The ACLU says it's considering legal action now. Meanwhile, county supervisors say they consulted with several state and county officials before moving forward with the project. Davenport police are investigating this morning after a teenager was found dead. The teenager's body was found after 6 a.m. yesterday morning after being called to the area near Iroquois Drive and Cimarron Drive. Police are telling us when they arrived, they found the body of a 16-year-old with multiple gunshot wounds. Police have not said if any arrests have been made, but Davenport police say they are still investigating right now. And an investigation is underway right now in Moline, trying to figure out what led up to a Moline police officer hitting a pedestrian while on a routine patrol yesterday afternoon. Happened just before 1 p.m. Police say an officer was turning onto River Drive from 15th Street when a 27-year-old woman carrying a 4-year-old child was crossing the street. The officer then struck the woman, causing her to fall to the ground. The officer immediately stopped, we're told, to help the woman and call Moline Fire and EMS. Both the woman and the child were transported to the hospital. Police say the woman was treated for minor injuries. Meanwhile, the child was unharmed. The time right now is 6:06 on your Saturday morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Still ahead, battling the gas price blues. How one food truck owner is trying to combat the increasing cost of fuel.
And we are tracking in a spring-like end to the weekend, and hey, spring actually begins tomorrow. We'll talk about those warm temperatures and how long they last coming up next in your accurate forecast.
You're watching